Canto 3. Enter through me, city of endless woe. Enter through me, eternal agony. Enter to join the wholly lost below. Creative love, creative intellect, established me for all eternity. Infinite justice is my architect. Nothing existed before I was made. Nothing existing will escape my scope. All you who enter here, abandon hope. These fearful words carved deeply, I could see, above a great dark doorway, so I cried, "O master, do these words apply to me?" Like a good teacher, giving calm advice. "I don't think that I've misled you," he replied. "By now you should have lost your cowardice. I am assigned, recall, to help you view the final state of those dead sinners who chose to corrupt the goodness of their minds." Smiling to cheer me on, he took my hand and led me beside a dreadful band who hurt my ears with horrid lamentations. Screams, wails, howls, groans, and other ugly cries went blasting by us in a starless dark, with skirls of rancorous denunciation, wild curses yelled in tongues of every nation, or hoarsely growled, or hissed in excretion, mingled with bitter moaning sobs and sighs, that had me weeping too in emulation. This madly squealing, roaring, snarling throng, arms flailing, clutching hands and trampling feet, went reeling, shambling, charging, tumbling by, like sands and whirlwinds, whirling round and round, until their foggy billows hid the sky. This ghastly crowd and din so filled my head, I gazed upon my guide and whispered, "Why? These timid sinners stand aside," he said, "when strong oppressors tyrannize and slay. They may feel sympathetic to the weak, but I think it wise to keep out of the way. When Satan, God's prime minister, first planned to rule the universe, he raised a band of rebels who split heaven in two, it seemed, till moderates united in a team to stay aloof from holiness and sin, until they saw which side was bound to win. They were the foremost damned when virtue won. Outcasts of hell and heaven, here they run." "But, master," I asked, "why do they yell so loud?" He said, "This sorry crowd have the distress of being altogether meaningless. They envy now the fate of anyone whose deeds and misdeeds will preserve their names in memory through good or evil fame. Justice and mercy both reject them, so we'll speak no more of them. Look, and let's go." I looked, and saw a whirling flag ahead, chased by these multitudes. I never knew such millions had been numbered with the dead, but one I knew, that cowardly Pope, who elected to reform the Church's sins, fearing to foul his hands by that withdrew, true to himself, but to our God untrue. Hornets that stung like daggers sped this race of frantic nudity, so tears, sweat, blood splashing from the ground from every limb and face were sucked by worms, and wriggling in trampled mud. Beyond that rushing rabble I could see, though dimly lit, a mighty river's shore, with quite a different crowd congesting it. Pressing and jostling, they seemed to me like people keen to reach the other side. I asked my guide, "What are they eager for?" "Wait, and you'll see," was all that he replied. We reached the river. From the other shore I saw a ferry boat come shouting out, rowed by a hoary ancient with white hair, who, when he neared our side, began to shout, "Welcome to grief and welcome to despair, you wicked ghosts! No glimpse of heavenly light for you again, condemned to endless night, with scorching heat or agonizing frost. Welcome to what forever hurts you most, but you, a living man, cannot cross here. My only business is to shift the dead. So go another way, and fast," he said. I did not move. "Trespasser, go!" he roared. "I cannot carry you. Ghosts are my freight. This boat can't bear a living body's weight." "Don't bluster, Charon. You'll convey this man," my master said. "On high it has been willed. Your boat shall take him. So of course it can." The quiet reasoning of this reply shut the grim captain's mouth, although his rage glowed in a ring of flame around each eye, glaring upon the crowded landing stage, where his rude voice turned the bare bodies white and made teeth chatter. Gibbering with fright, or wailing with it, those damned souls cursed God, mankind, themselves, cursed worse their parents' bed, the genitals and womb whence they were bred, Beckoned by Charon, one by one they sped downward, like hawks they swooped into his boat, or spun down and round, like drifts of leaves abandoning a tree to coat the ground. That demon with the eyes like flaming coals packed tightly in his cargo of damned souls, whacking the hindmost smartly with his oar, and went out with them over the dark water. And as we left behind the nearest shore, I saw it was crowded as before. My kindly teacher said to me, "My son, no nation is without a downward path, on which the dead are flocking here. Each one who dies within the shadow of God's wrath, their weight of guilt, by force of gravity, drags them all quickly down for punishment at the true depth of their iniquity. A state they want yet dread, no gleam of light which they rejected halts that downward flight. Charon precipitates their grim descent, so hates conveying you who go elsewhere." We reached the further shore and disembarked onto a desolate and gloomy plain, shaking with earthquakes, and I saw it split by a great gust of wind that carried out black coiling clouds with crimson lightning lit. So shocking was the sight that even yet, despite worse things I later saw in hell, the recollection soaks my skin with sweat. Exhausted then, I fell down in a fit.